Hi, welcome to Maverick and Dempsey's Retro Movie Review. All right, we got some good comedies coming at you, just like she's coming at you right now. Hey, look at that. All right, so we're back. All right, we're going to get straight into it. All right, let's go with Tommy Boy. We just finished Tommy Boy. Second time she's seen that movie. It's been a while, though, so it was kind of fresh for her again. David Spade, Chris Farley. It's one of the most quotable movies of its day. It's one of the funniest movies of its day. It's one of those I can't imagine somebody not liking it. David Spade is at his snarkiest best. Chris Farley is at his comedic best. It's looked at as the better film, even by David Spade, than Black Sheep. I think it's kind of right there with Black Sheep. I don't know if I could pick a favorite out of them, but it certainly has more quotable lines, more memorable lines. It was the first team up of Farley and Spade, so it's looked at as the best. I don't know. Like I said, I think they're both kind of parallel to one another. It's one of those. It's probably a 9 out of 10. I mean, it's so good. Like I said, I can't imagine somebody not liking it. I can't imagine a time where somebody would put the movie on and I wouldn't want to watch it. You know, it's fantastic. Like I said, those one-liners are hilarious. I still use them in everyday life. What do you think of Tommy Boy?
I agree with you on everything. It was good.
Anything you want to add?
I like it a lot. I'm glad.
All right. For somebody that wants to be a star one day, she's got to learn to do improv. All right. So, but it's saying an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, so that's all right. Maybe we'll review that one day. All right. So another one is Delirious, John Candy movie. Not a John Candy classic. It's a forgotten John Candy movie by the masses. It's considered like a deep cut. It's not Great Outdoors. It's not Uncle Buck. It's more of along the lines of a Who's Harry Crumb, which is another favorite of mine. But Delirious is another one. It's an easy watch. It's a fun movie. There's nothing going back to Tommy Boy. There's one scene in Tommy Boy you might want to fast forward, the spanked revision part. But other than that, it's kind of good for the whole family. Um, Delirious is definitely good for the whole family. There's nothing I think too risque in that movie at all, and John Candy's just hilarious in it. He plays the bumbling idiot in parts of it. He plays the dashing hero because he's writing his own story. If you're not familiar with it, he gets bumped on the head and he wakes up and he's living in a soap opera that he is the writer of in the real world. But now he has a typewriter, and as he types on it, he controls his own world in this dream world, fantasy world, parallel dimension, whatever it is. I mean, I'm not going to spoil that for you. I didn't get into the story of Tommy Boy to really tell you what it's about. That's because everybody pretty much knows what Tommy Boy's about. Delirious, like I said, is a deeper cut. So John Candy, does he save the girl? Which girl does he end up with? You know, does he solve the mystery in this alternate world? What happens? You know, does he get trapped in the world? Does he get out of the world? How does it work? It's a hilarious, fun little romp. All right. So then we have. Did you want to add anything to that?
No.
Nothing at all. All right.
I agree.
Okay, she agrees. All right. All right, Heart and Soul, Robert Downey Jr. Before Robert Downey Jr. was Iron Man, he was this fun, kind of attempting to be a leading man in these fun romantic comedies. This is a nice little comedy, more just kind of a tug at your heart, feel good comedy, but there's a little bit of a romance in it with Elizabeth Shue. And once again, it's kind of a deeper cut of Robert Downey Jr. He Robert Downey Jr. is a baby is a baby in a car that his parents are rushing to the hospital, or he's about to be born. Sorry, he's an unborn baby being rushed to the hospital. Crashes into a bus. The bus has these four people on it that, since they died together, they're kind of trapped in the afterlife together, and they're trapped with Robert Downey Jr. as this baby who grows up. They have to be around him. They're not allowed to go anywhere else. So they live that life with him. They eventually start causing problems in his life as the imaginary friends of his that nobody can see, and get him into trouble, and people think he's crazy, take him to a psychiatrist. So then they end up disappearing. So now they are guardian angels of his. Not technically they're not angels, but they act as guardian angels for his to watch him grow up, but he doesn't get to see them anymore. Now they find out that they are going to heaven. The bus driver is the real life bus driver is the bus driver to heaven. He needs to come back, pick them up. He didn't take them to heaven like he was supposed to. So now, but he was going to give them a little bit of time, let them do whatever they need to do before they go to the afterlife, go to heaven. All right. So now he tells them that's what they're supposed to do, but he forgot to give them the message. So now he's like, okay, well, I'll give you a few days. Take care of whatever you need to take care of, and then I'll take you up to heaven. That's how it goes. Take you one by one to heaven. So now they have to reveal themselves to Robert Downey Jr. to get his help to do the little missions they need to do before they go to heaven. All right, I know that was a big spiel there, but I had to give you some backstory on it. It's a fun movie. Robert Downey Jr. is comedic. He's fun. He's charming. He's everything you expect out of Robert Downey Jr. in this young role of his. It's got Charles Grodin who does great in the role, and some other. Let's see, Keira Sedgwick is in it, Mrs. Kevin Bacon. She does a great job in the movie. I already mentioned Elizabeth Shue. And I don't want to get too long-winded here, but it's a fun movie, great for the whole family. It's I don't know if it's a Disney movie, but it's got that kind of feel to it. So it's great. Watch it with your kids. You'll love it. There'll be laughs, there'll be tears. Fantastic. What do you think of Heart and Souls?
I thought it was a really good movie, and it is kind of like a Disney movie.
All right. She didn't have a script prepared, but I kind of sprung this on her that we're going to do this. But hey, this whole podcast, the point is for her to find her voice, and she's still trying to find it. That's not an insult, dude. Relax. All right, so recommend for the whole family. Out of 10, I would give it. She hadn't been doing her paws up in like 8 podcasts ago, but I still like to do it. Biscuit, paws up, whatever you want to call it. You don't do it anymore, so I forgot what it was. But I like to do the 1 to 10, and on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give this one 6.5 to a 7. It's not a movie that you're gonna write home about, but you're definitely gonna enjoy it with the whole family. And it's not, like I said, it's nice seeing Downey in this role before he was the global superstar that he is. All right, so last but not least, we have one of my favorites from the 80s. The martial arts action comedy classic, The Last Dragon. Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon. All right. So in this one, you have Bruce Leroy, all right, played by Timac, who is for better, no better words to say it. He's the Bruce Lee. He's the wise. He's not Chinese, but he's the wise, like stereotypical Chinaman character in this movie, although he's played by a black guy, which it's cool that they're blurring all the lines of racial stereotypes. It'll teach you something, and not in an annoying way, but in a fun way. All right, so he's the Bruce Lee type of figure, and then you have Shonuff, who's the Shogun of Harlem. He's like the martial arts gang leader type. He wants to take over the city, prove that he is the baddest man in town, but to do that, he's got to take down Bruce Leroy. So the whole movie's trying to challenge Bruce to this fight, and his name is Leroy Green, but everybody calls him Bruce Leroy. But he's trying to challenge Leroy in this movie, get him to fight him so he can prove that he's the dominant martial arts force in the city. It's like old school martial arts movie mixed with 1980s campy craziness. It's fantastic. It's a great soundtrack. Bruce Leroy is my favorite underrated hero from the 80s in all these martial arts movies. Van Damme, Seagal, Chuck Norris, all this stuff. I'll take Bruce Leroy over all of them. Shonuff is the best villain in the 80s that no one really talks about. They talk about the Freddy Kruegers, the Jason Voorhees, Alan Rickman in Die Hard, and numerous others, but nobody talks about Shonuff like they should. I mentioned the soundtrack already. Eddie Arcadian, another villain who's a great villain in this. First appearance by William H. Macy in a big screen movie. And epic fighting, special effects don't really hurt the movie. Vanity's a great leading lady. You might remember her if you're a Prince fan. It's a fun movie for all ages. I can't believe I waited this long to show her, but I wanted her to appreciate it for all that it was. And it's just such a good movie. I mean, it's got laughs, it's got action. There may even be a tear if you're kind of a sappy little heart like me when it comes to these types of movies where the underdog fights the big villain. But I love The Last Dragon. I can't say enough about it. It's just a fun movie. If you want to have fun, put in The Last Dragon. Kind of like Tommy Boy, just put the movie in and watch it, and you're gonna have fun. If you don't, then I don't really like you. How about that?
I agree with him on everything.
Do you have anything to add?
It's a good soundtrack.
What was your favorite part of the movie?
The end of the movie.
The final battle?
Yeah.
It's a cool fight.
Yeah.
Anything that I didn't mention?
No.
Great supporting cast. A young Ernie Reyes Jr. I forgot Bruce Leroy's brother's name, but he was great in it. There's a little appearance by Rudy from The Cosby Show. She doesn't really add anything to it, but there's a funny little bit with her and her name. Everybody's got a different name for her. No spoiler there. Johnny Yu, who that might be his real name too, but that's his character name. He's a fantastic sidekick. I wish he would have done more. I don't know if he did anything else in the 80s, but I love that movie. Can't say enough good things about it. She apparently can't find anything to say about it. Besides, she agrees with me. But look, we're trying. We're trying. That's the point. She'll come out of her shell. All right. You guys make her nervous. Give her some likes. Up her confidence a little bit. Give her some likes. Give her some shares. Subscriptions.
One like equals one confidence.
All right. So the next football game will be a football game that counts. We've reached the end of the preseason. I barely saw any of it. Thank you, NFL Network, for hogging all those preseason games. I didn't want to see some of them. But they don't matter anyway, so who cares? So that we will go back to our sports. We're going to keep doing the movie reviews, but we're going to go to our sports too, and be looking at all the football and stuff. When I say sports, I really mean football, because it's not like I'm going to be doing reviews for British Premier League. No offense to that, though. Go Manchester City. But all right, that's enough of this podcast, enough of this review. Hope you like it, subscribe, keep checking it out, and peace.